Hey everybody, it's Chris with Rescue Everyday Heroes. This is a firefighter management type game. You may see it or think it's similar to the Emergency series, which were they were a good idea, but it was full of flaws and fatal gameplay errors. This rescue is similar to it, but I think it's a lot better and it's more in depth as far as the management thing goes. So what you do is you take on the role of a fire chief, and you start off with kind of a small budget, but a basic fire station, and then you grow your crew and you buy vehicles as you progress through the game. There is a free play which I haven't played yet, but I've gotten pretty deep into the career mode. So what you start off with is two firefighters, and you'll get a fire engine. Now you can put four firefighters in this. It has a small tank of fuel, water, and then it has some hoses, and it's also got a fire extinguisher, and I believe it's got a first aid kit. And also you can buy the hose carrier vehicle, which takes two firefighters, and it's got plenty of hoses for if you get in an area where you need a lot of firefighters to put out fires. So you get this management mode, and here you see there's these icons with a 0 and a 3. That would be, you can staff these with your people. They each give kind of buffs. I know the command center over here actually if you have people manning this, it allows you to respond with more than it allows you to respond with more firefighters or vehicles. And the gym will open up, the canteen. Now this is the maintenance bay. You want to keep your maintenance high. So when you hire people, definitely try to fill out that first. But let's go ahead and go to our staffing. This is the unit management. Now you see your firefighters, and you also see your vehicles. There's really not much you can do to the vehicles except buy and sell them, and they just have to be maintained. And this is what comes with the vehicle. So you get two hoses, one main coupler. Now this connects to either the truck or a fire hydrant, and then you get a first aid kit and a fire extinguisher. And these are the two guys we have now. They do have a morale system. It's pretty easy to keep them happy. I haven't had a problem yet. Now this is where you can assign them to different things, and some of these guys have blue icons, which means they have a special skill or an attribute that you want to exploit. And this also shows there are other attributes. Now this is mostly what happens when they interact with each other, and it might affect some of the random events that come up, but you want to pay attention to the blue, and that's the most important. So both these guys this guy's a command, so you want to, the strategist, you want to put him as a command center employee, or employ him there. And this firefighter here, we're going to just throw him in the canteen. Now they do develop skills and random skill sets that will show up and that you can adjust later, and you can move them at any time. But if you look, you can see what their assignment effect has. So if I take him off, I'll only be able to respond with 4 units, but with him on as the strategist, you can respond with 6 units. And as he develops his skill, which is actually pretty good, you can expand that even further. And you'll open up the lecture room, which you can train your firefighters on their jobs, and then the gym, you can train them athletically. So now just focusing on him moving to that area. What are the other things that you'll do? This is where you'll see all your equipment. There's always something in the maintenance bay, just because that's what they do, I guess. All the firefighters I know just wash trucks and save foundations. I'm just kidding. Firefighters are awesome. I know quite a few of them, and they are by far some of the bravest people I know. And that being said, now we're in this management mode. Time doesn't go by as far as it does go by tough to say, but it does go by as time you get a monthly budget, so that'll go by. But as you can see, it just autosave there. The only time you're really timed, it says this is when you're in the alert phase, but when you respond to a job. But I haven't had a time limit, and I've seen some videos that people do have time limits. I don't know if it's a European version or something else, but I've never run into a time issue. I never failed because of time, and it's probably a good thing because it does get a little bit tedious, and you'll see when we get to some of those missions how hard it is to click on people and get them to do stuff. Also, these random events come up, and these can affect morale or, you know, funding or whatever. So this one's a reporter from a local newspaper wants to do a big article on our station. Well, we could get some additional funding for this, but looking after the reporter while he follows us might get tiring real quick. So what's going to happen is if I do this, we'll get an $800 increase, but this guy will become fatigued. And I'm not really sure what the penalty is in actuality, because it doesn't seem to affect, it doesn't really, he might just not move as fast, or he might not be as good at what he does. And I don't know the exact depth of the buffs and debuffs, but we're just going to go ahead and do it because money is important. So now we got an alarm. You get about 2 a month if you do it right after. That's what I've been averaging. So they're pretty linear. This seems to be the same as what it happened the first time I played through. But there's been a report of a minor fire involving a trash container. Let's go and make sure the fire doesn't spread. Send a fire engine and with at least 2 firefighters for the mission. This is your first mission, so good luck. So we're going to proceed to dispatch. Now, in this dispatch mode, we see where we'll be dispatched from, and here's the actual mission location. We go to our fire engine over on available units, and we put our 2 firefighters here in the crew slots, and then we'll confirm, and it brings it over here to the right with our dispatch. Now, down at the bottom, you get the briefing again, but also it'll show you these icons. So firefighting units are required for this mission, and the required firefighters are 2. So it tells us we have filled that out. It does not require paramedics, and we don't have them yet anyway, so it's a good thing that doesn't require them, but it's obviously playing that way. The maps in this game are actually really nicely rendered, so visually it's a good game, and it's got a lot of I like it, and I like it a lot better than the Emergency series because they were just awful. This is a more polished version, although there are some things that you'll see that are kind of maddening. But let's go ahead and bring the truck down here. Now on the map, you'll see U is the yellow dot, the incident is the red rhombus here, and then the triangles are actually fire hydrants. And they kind of can be important, but at this juncture it's not really that critical. So we want to click on our firefighters. We want to right click on the truck, and then we want to go to the truck itself, and let's just get a fire extinguisher. It might be able to put this out with just a fire extinguisher. So then you'll see that the gears come up, and you just right click on that, and it will send the firefighter there. Now, also on this truck we have the main coupler, and we might need to do this, so I'm just going to go ahead and hook this up. Now this engine does have a tank on it, or we could use a oops, I didn't mean to do that. This engine does have a tank, or we could use the fire hydrant, but let's see, get him over here a little bit more. We might not need him. Anyway, so I'm going to hook it up. I can hook up to this. Yep, okay, the fire extinguisher is empty, so I do need this. So I'm going to send this firefighter back to get an attack hose, and he's going to hook up to this right here, and we'll send him to get an attack hose, and maybe by the time this guy deploys out to the site, he will be able to hook up, and they might be able to just do it from here. And they should if they're close enough, they should automatically attack the fire or the next fire. Alright, so then here we've completed. We don't have to load up the trucks or anything. And it shows you how much time you spent on the mission, so just under 2 minutes, and that was actually pretty terrible if you were talking about a trash fire. It should have been done a long time ago. This is your mission income, and this is just a bonus because you get a monthly allowance for your station. And you also can, in a little bit later, you'll be able to unlock outside support. So you could send like a third-party ambulance company in to help you out, or call fire trucks from another district that you know, you don't have access to. So we'll just go ahead and go back to the management phase. There's really not much that has to be done here. Now I can get the hose tender. I believe I can afford it. Oh, this is also a way you can recruit your guys. You can either buy vehicles or recruit them. So a hose carrier is 4,000. We have 4,000. It's not. I'm not going to do that. But I will pick up 2 more firefighters, and I'm going to go for a guy in the canteen, and I want to go with a guy that does mechanics, so, or maintenance. Now, all I got to do is go back to this guy. We'll put him in maintenance because you want to keep your maintenance level up. It does affect, I guess, how things are done. I'm not sure the exact extent of what it does, but obviously you want to keep your station and equipment maintained. So, and also we, you know, put a guy that has a culinary bonus. We put him in the kitchen as well. And we're just going to go ahead and pump on to the next mission because that was just my knuckles, sorry. We're going to continue on. And it does take a little bit of time for missions to come up. Like I said, it's about, averages about 2 a month. And that's pretty much straight through. And here we go, our mission now. Rail yard fire. For an unknown reason, a train container is caught on fire in the harbor industrial area. Nearby structures have also been reported as being on fire. Luckily, this is an industrial area, and the train is a cargo train, so there's no risk of human injury. So we're going to go ahead and proceed to dispatch, and we're going to take all our guys. And we should be okay. Now, if you look down here, you only need 2 out of 2, but we have 4, so we'll just go ahead and bang this one out. And we're going to go ahead and just go right to the rail yard. And it doesn't really matter where you put your truck. I mean, in this mission it's not bad because it's wide open, but in other missions it gets really crowded. So it's one thing, you want to keep the trucks close to the fire. There doesn't seem to be a risk of them catching on fire like an emergency, but you also want to give yourself enough room to be able to maneuver. And it would be nice if you could send multiple guys to do the same thing. And this is where I kind of get a little bit picky in what I'm, you know, what my idea of this game should be. Is I should be able to take these 2 guys and go to the truck and get 2 hoses, because I know there's 2 hoses there. So I have to do them individually. And we'll bring this guy back over here out of the way. And now I can have them both connect to that hose. Now, I don't think I have any more hoses. Yeah, so I only got 2 hoses on this truck, and that's definitely a limitation, so getting the hose carrier truck is good. Now, these guys are pretty tough to click on, and you'll find that if you play the game, and I do like the game, I really do. There's just a few things like collisions, pathfinding, you know, they're all not the greatest. The game has great potential if the developers want to address these things. Also, modability. I don't know if there is modability yet. I know there's been some talk of it, but you know, there's no police. There's no like engineering and like in emergency. So it's different in that aspect where you're just focusing on the fire department, which actually is pretty good because micromanaging is tough. And if you're micromanaging like 2 different departments, then that gets a little bit crazy. We're going to go ahead right into the next alarm phase. So now here's our monthly report. So we did 2 missions. They were exterior fire missions, and we have 4 personnel. We have 1 vehicle. Our monthly budget results is $600. Monthly allowance is $3,000, and our salary is $3,600. So that basically we're $600 over what we should be. But when you add the missions in, we come out to $4,600. So we only made $600. Well, actually, we made more than that. I'm sorry, because we bought in some personnel. But now you can hire the senior firefighters, which are like $1,200, or you can hire regular firefighters, which are $800, and then just build them up. So I guess it really doesn't matter. I don't know what this random thing is. I mean, it happens all the time, but there doesn't seem to be any benefit or loss to it when that message pops up about a DD10 form or whatever. See the game yet? So now these random pop-ups. So I just say Yahoo, I automatically gain 1 morale. So morale's pretty easy to keep. Now, okay, we got another alarm. So downtown pyromania. There's been a report of, oh, this one sucks. There's been a report of multiple fires in the downtown area. Phone booths around the city have been set on fire by a perpetrator. Don't worry, the police have taken care of the perpetrator. They're on scene to make sure civilians stay out of the incident areas. Now, there is a couple missions that I've run across that actually the civilians are able to walk through the middle, and they don't shut down the streets, so the cars get in your way. It sucks. That's something that should be addressed as well. Usually it's pretty simple and easy to maneuver, but in the cities it gets a little tough with the camera. You always find yourself that you don't have a great angle on what you need to view, so that does become problematic as well. And we're gonna just hook him up to the truck. So, and then we'll move him out there. Now you have this radius where you can move your your end joint there. So we'll connect those both up. Alright, and we'll have these guys fight the fire. And you have to actually physically have them attack a fire, and once you do, they will they'll usually continue and move to the next area and automatically fight that fire as well. But sometimes if it's far away, they won't. You can see the water on this truck is going down real quick. That's our water tank. And the other thing that I don't like is that if you run out of water on the tankers, you actually have to send them off the map to get more water, which it makes absolutely no sense. You can't even connect them. I mean, we're talking a pumper here, an engine. This is actually meant to be hooked up to a fire hydrant in real life, and what it does is there's a pump on the truck that takes the water from the hydrant, pressurizes it, and then sends it down through the hoses. Now, what that does is increases the amount of volume of water to fight the fire. And if this game is as oriented towards reality as it is, or that it seems, you should be able to hook up the engines to the hydrants, and then you should be able to fill tanks, like on a tanker truck. You should be able to connect that tanker truck up to the fire hydrants and fill them as well, so you don't have to travel off map, which I kind of don't understand. That might be minor. I don't know if other people are thinking the same thing, or if it's just me being critical. But that's one thing that really should be addressed or modified or patched. That the trucks should be able to connect to the city hydrants. Now, in areas like farm towns or places where you just don't have access to hydrants, then yeah, obviously, if your tanker runs out of water, you have to send it off site to get more water. That makes perfect sense. But in a city area or a place where has access to fire hydrants, like the docks and stuff like that, there's no excuse not to be able to connect to the hydrants and fill up the tankers, or fill up whatever, whether it's the engine tanker or the pumper or whatever. Now I'm having a little bit of trouble clicking this guy. You can probably hear my mouse going. It is kind of weird. Now we don't have a fire hydrant that's close. It's actually over here, and our hoses will reach if we do. I might have to do that because I don't think I have enough water in the truck. But we're going to go ahead and just bring out this hose anyway, since we don't have to unpack it to leave. And we're going to have this guy hook up, and we'll have him come around here. Now I want this to go on the side so it's a little bit closer. He's going to pick up the attack hose as well. Let's hook up here. activating. And let's get you over here as well. I want you to come over here. I don't want you to go over there. I want you to go over here. And this, it really doesn't matter. I mean, we could take our time. See, I'm just having trouble clicking that guy. Just the click radius seems really small. I might not have enough water in the truck to put this out, but maybe I will. Maybe just enough. Yep, okay, good. So we're done. Again, it took us 5 minutes to put out 3 fires. I think that's actually pretty good. $2,000 reward income. And we're back at the management screen. So in this, after, I must be just set on mission counts because it seems to be at the same time. We just been promoted to lieutenant, and we are being awarded the following. We're being awarded 2 paramedics, and we have a support ambulance and EMS doctor's vehicle. Now, these are support units that cost you money to use. They are not part of your fire department, but they are off screen, and they take a little bit of time to get there. New items available for purchase. Paramedic personnel can now use the gym and can now use the lecture room. So we can set up the gym and the lecture room to allow us to expand our abilities, and they also gift us an ambulance, which is good. So we have, we probably should get the hose carrier because it does come in handy. And I don't know, we can stripe it, we can change colors, but once you buy them, it doesn't seem that you can change the color. So is it worth $600? No. We'll just go ahead and purchase that. So now that vehicle is actually in our inventory, and we should grab 2 more firefighters. And let's see if we can get maintenance guy. Yeah, we'll take him. And we'll take him. Alright, these guys are here. So now they're on standby. And I'm not, you know, the other thing I haven't seen any bonus or malice on is whether leaving these guys assigned to stuff actually affects anything. It doesn't seem to. Excuse me. But that could be me just not playing deep enough into it. We can also buy stuff for the station. Buying things like, if you go to the gym here, buying things like the bench press and the exercise bike and stuff like that allows people to use the gym. And based on how many items you have, it actually allows that many people to use the gym. So we'll get 2 exercise bikes. That's 1,000. Yeah, we should be okay. And we'll just go ahead and put this in the gym. And put that there. Put that there. And we'll put that there. Yes. Okay. Now the other thing what we probably want to do is, let's go to the cafeteria stuff, and we will get them a, it's in here somewhere, vending machine. Yes, and we'll put that right there, because if you look at some of the guys, what they say, they might ask for like a drink or something, or you know, might ask for a coffee thing. It just, you kind of, if you watch what they're saying, then it apparently gives them better morale. Now this fire tower, I'm not sure when that starts to be able to be used. I haven't gotten that far. Let's go ahead and we should go to the next mission here. Boss has been there's a donation drive for building a new fire volunteer department. Wow. Boss, there's a donation drive for building a new volunteer fire department for our neighboring village. Do we wish to participate with that? Yeah, it brings up morale, so let's go ahead and do it. I know we're kind of light on funds right now, but it's actually not an issue. As long as you just maintain a balanced budget, you should be fine. Now, if you Yeah, see, I don't understand what this 1D10T form is. Alright, here we go, an alarm. Vehicle in the water. A curious accident has taken place in a forested area. The vehicle is driven into a lake with passengers still inside it. Luckily for them, there were people nearby who witnessed the accident. They managed to get the passengers ashore. We should send an ambulance to check out the patient's condition. Some are being reported as unconscious but breathing spontaneously. Okay, so we just need the ambulance for this. We don't need firefighters. If you look at this down here, required firefighter 0. We'll just send the ambulance. In an emergency medical service mission, your objective is to locate, classify, and treat and evacuate all victims. Victims are located in the mission area shown on the map. In order to complete the mission, all victims must be evacuated from the mission area and using the ambulance. So we can go ahead and get this guy over to the incident area. And this ambulance can only carry one person, one casualty, so we will need to send it off-site. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to send your paramedics out, and you want them to, first, you want them to kind of triage them, see what's going on, and then their status will pop up. And this guy is yellow, which is not good. This guy is green, which he is going to be okay. So let's go ahead and send this guy to get the stretcher, this guy to get the medical kit and treat this victim. And we can go ahead and put this. Now, I just realized that I kind of screwed myself here because you need 2 people to move the stretcher. So if I had a firefighter here, he could take that the other end of the stretcher, and I wouldn't have to wait. So now I got to go ahead and put this back here. It walks so slow. Now I got to grab the other end of the stretcher, put them in the ambulance. The other thing I don't like about this is that you do not have to have anyone in the ambulance or in the fire trucks to use them. So technically they shouldn't be allowed to move if there's no one driving them. That's just common sense. You cannot move the fire trucks when they are set up. As far as having a hose attached to them, they will not move. So they got that. It just takes away from the. I mean, I know it's just a game, and I know it's not, real, but it is kind of based off of real situations, and authenticity with me is pretty key. So if you're gonna do it and you're gonna go through all the work, and they did a lot of work on this game, you can see it, then you probably should just go all the way. But this will end the mission. Like I said, there's no time limits. I don't know if it's a gameplay thing. I haven't looked into the menus. Maybe I should, but it doesn't seem to have too much of a problem. Like, emergency was really tough. It had all the problems of pathfinding and all sorts of stuff like that, but it was also timed, and or at least there were certain events that would happen before you could really even get your people into position. So it was a lot more challenging than this. And like I said, I don't see that gameplay. Oh, mission does have time limits. I'm sorry, that's right there. But that's the only real thing that makes it more difficult. We could try it with time, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how good I am. But we'll see. And let's go ahead and just go for the next alarm. And, if you guys like stuff like this, reality kind of simulation management games, it's worth it. And hopefully the developers actually, put some patches in and maybe some DLC, or open it up to be able to be modded, and we can move this game on, because I think it's worth taking a look at it, and I think it's worth continuing to play. And I've been playing it for maybe 10 hours or so, and I enjoy it. So, all right. Now, fires been reported from a convenience store. The origin of the fire seems to be a malfunctioning air conditioner. The fire is threatening to spread to the store's interior, so we should make sure to extinguish it as soon as possible. We're going to send our hose carrier vehicle as well. We do not need any paramedics. And we'll go ahead and go to the mission. And we'll get our 2 trucks to go over here. And I probably could have just done this with 1 truck, whether it was the hose carrier or the engine. But the engine takes 4 guys. The hose carrier only takes 2. So personnel shortage. See, this is going to get difficult because when you get things close together, it's tough to move these guys around. It's hard enough clicking on them. It's very difficult to move them into a position where they need to be. And we'll get these guys hooked up with hoses. And we'll put this out here. Get these 2 guys out. Connect. Take these 2 guys and connect. And we'll get this guy. And we'll get this guy. So this guy, so I'm going to hook him up to the truck. Get these guys up in the fire area. Get him to deploy there. Now, I probably should actually get a guy starting to put out, we'll get these guys starting to put out the fire, but it doesn't seem to be that critical. Time is not really that important. I mean, I got, what, 13 or 14 minutes to do this mission. It's really not that hard of a mission. And of course I'm out of hoses. Do a fire extinguisher. I guess I can, this guy can use a fire extinguisher if he needs to. He doesn't have one though. No. Alright, so we'll move these guys down. Also, some of the other things that I think they should, you should pay like a fee on using fire extinguishers, like a maintenance fee on using them. Should probably pay a maintenance fee on everything. You should have to buy hoses when they wear out. They should have a wear value on them. I mean, these are all things that I'd love to see because it would make it a little bit more authentic. And that would be stuff that you could do in the management screen where timing is not really an issue. You know, it allows you to take a moment, breathe, wait for the missions to come in. But in that meantime, it actually gives it a little bit more benefit to stay in the management screen a little bit longer to make sure that your things are up to par and you know, not just for training but actually maintenance of the thing. So all right, we only did 1 mission last month. Actually, I thought we did 2, but maybe that ambulance one was the month before. But end of month balance $8,400. And let's see, can we buy? Oh, we don't have time. Accident at a building site. There's been an accident in the village. Some workers doing exterior renovations at the local church have fallen off the scaffolding, apparently due to scaffolding breaking. The mission requires a rapid medical response due to multiple victims, so sending an ambulance with capable paramedics. So we're going to go ahead and do this. And like I should have done the last time, I'm going to go ahead and send the fire truck too. And pretty much every time, I mean, every time there's a fire, paramedics show up, but every time there's paramedic response required, fire trucks don't generally show up. I mean, unless it's a car accident, because then they bring the jaws of life just in case and shit like that. But we'll go ahead and get these guys in here. Now, it's not a busy area, so the street blockage might not be an issue, but there are times when people keep driving into the area and they really cause havoc on your management. So we want to check out these guys real quick. And firefighters actually can pull out the first aid kits and use them if they need to. Right there. I'm going to bring the firefighter over here just to help out, but yeah, let's go ahead and get back here, get that, and this firefighter is going to actually start treating him as well. And we'll get the stretcher here. While he's treating him, I'll have the firefighter and this EMT bring the patient back into the ambulance. Just to show you that having firefighters on hand to help out is a good idea, even if you definitely don't need them as far as putting out fires. They do help out and they do come in handy. If I had multiple victims, this guy would move on to the next one, while this guy was able to go back. Let me just check. Yeah. Well, this guy was able to do what he needed to do. So I'm going to go ahead and send this guy back to the hospital. And, you know, pushing the firefighter out of the way with the ambulance is always a good way to get people hurt. Alright, so right now that's all that's going on. We just got to wait for that ambulance to come back. And it should be coming back soon. Now, wherever you dispatch the ambulance to go back to the hospital from is where the ambulance is going to come back to. So if you dispatch it, if you moved it over here and then dispatched it, well, it would come back to the last spot it was. So you definitely want to have it dispatched back to where you need it. Yeah, so he can go ahead and do that. He can put that away. This guy gets out. He'll get the stretcher. And both of these guys can go back. Get this guy. You can get in here. You can get there. Alright. So, you know, just if you guys like the game, check it out. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a demo for it, but you pretty much see this is how it goes. It does get, there are instances where you need more fire trucks, you need more personnel, and I can throw those videos up as well, but you do get things like pumper trucks and tanker trucks, and they do come in handy, and actually there's some missions that require them. There's like a brush truck, there's a helicopter. I'm sure that's for emergency response. I don't know if it's for firefighting, but those are further on in the mission. So you know, if you like these kind of games, I would suggest checking it out. If you've played Emergency and you're a little bit hesitant, I'd say it's similar, but it's more polished, although it does have its flaws as far as controls and stuff like that. It's worth the checkout, and it was like $19.99 on Steam. That's where I got it. Go ahead, check it out, and I'll throw up some more videos as I do them. Thanks. You know, like, subscribe, comment, and let me know what you think.